What if I told you that some of the most mentally strong men you'll ever meet rarely leave their houses? Not because they're afraid, not because they've given up, but because they've figured something out that most people spend their entire lives missing. The energy investment framework. Let's talk about something psychologists call social energy economics. Every human being has a limited reserve of mental and emotional energy each day. For some men, social interactions aren't just tiring. They're investments that rarely pay dividends. Think of it this way. If you had $100 to spend each day, would you spend $80 on things that leave you feeling depleted? Or would you invest that money where it actually grows? Men who prefer staying home aren't cheap with their energy, they're strategic. The misunderstood preference society has this backwards narrative if you're not constantly socializing, networking, or putting yourself out there. Something must be wrong with you. But here's what that narrative misses entirely. 3 truths about home-oriented men. First, they're not running from people, they're running toward themselves. There's a massive difference between isolation and intentional solitude. One is born from fear, the other from self-knowledge. Second, their social battery doesn't recharge through more socializing. It recharges through rest, reflection, and meaningful solo activities. Asking them to gain energy from crowds is like asking a solar panel to charge in the dark. Third, they've cracked a code most people never do. They've separated their self-worth from external validation. Their identity doesn't need constant reinforcement from others to remain intact. The home as a laboratory, here's where it gets interesting. For these men, home isn't just a place to crash. It's a laboratory for self-development. Consider what happens in that space. Uninterrupted deep work and focused time to process experiences without immediate reaction, freedom to develop skills. Without performance anxiety space to regulate emotions, without social pressure, the average person spends so much time managing their image in public that they never develop their authentic self in private. Home-oriented men flip this entirely. The attention revolution, we're living through an attention crisis. Everyone wants your focus, advertisers, social media, friends, colleagues. Your attention has become the world's most valuable currency. Men who love staying home have opted out of this economy. They've reclaimed their attention and redirected it toward things that actually matter to them. Deep learning, creative projects, genuine relationships, fewer but deeper, and honest self-reflection. This isn't antisocial, it's anti-distraction. The strength paradox, here's something counterintuitive. It takes more courage to stay home than to go out. Going out is easy. You follow the script society wrote for you. You show up, you perform, you get validation, you repeat. Staying in requires you to face yourself. No distractions, no performances, just you and your thoughts. Most people can't handle that for even an hour. These men live there. The real test of mental strength isn't how well you function in chaos. It's how comfortable you are in silence. Warning signs versus healthy solitude now, let's be honest. There's a difference between healthy home preference and unhealthy withdrawal. Here's how to tell them apart. Healthy solitude includes choosing to stay in from a place of peace, not fear, maintaining meaningful connections. Even if there are fewer engaging in active pursuits at home, learning, creating, developing, feeling energized by alone time, not just drained by social time, being able to go out when needed without anxiety. Unhealthy isolation looks like avoiding social situations due to anxiety or depression, losing touch with all connections, using home as an escape from problems rather than a space for growth, feeling trapped rather than comfortable, declining mental or physical health. The key is honest self-reflection. The selective social strategy, here's what outsiders miss. Home-loving men aren't antisocial, they are selectively social. They've realized that 10 shallow friendships are exhausting, while 2 deep ones are energizing. They'd rather have 1 3-hour conversation that matters than 20 interactions that don't. Quality over quantity isn't just a preference, it's a survival strategy for their mental health. Redefining masculine success, traditional masculinity says, be visible, be loud, be dominant, be everywhere at once. Modern masculine strength says, know yourself, protect your peace, choose your battles, be present where it counts. The home-oriented man represents this evolution. His strength isn't measured by how many rooms he can command, but by how well he commands himself. The creator's advantage, history's deep thinkers, creators, and innovators understood this instinctively. Darwin, Einstein, Kafka, countless others, they did their best work in solitude. Why? Because breakthrough thinking requires an interrupted focus. Innovation happens in the spaces between social obligations. The man who stays home isn't missing out on life. He's creating it on his own terms. Building your inner world, your external environment reflects your internal state. For men who love home, this becomes a powerful tool. They're architects of their own mental space. Every choice about their environment is intentional. The lighting that helps them think, the organization that reduces mental clutter, the rituals that provide structure. This isn't obsessive. It's strategic environmental design for optimal mental health. The final truth, the man who loves staying home has discovered something profound. You don't find yourself by going everywhere. You find yourself by being somewhere fully, completely, honestly. In a world that glorifies constant ocean, his stillness is revolutionary. In a culture addicted to validation, self-sufficiency is radical. In an age of performance, his authenticity is rare. He's not behind everyone else. He's just moving in a different direction inward. And maybe that's exactly where the answers have been all along. So if you're someone who prefers staying in, who finds peace in your own space, who recharges alone, don't let anyone convince you something's wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not missing out. You're not less than. You're simply listening to a quieter voice that most people drown out with noise. And in that quiet, you might just be discovering what it means to truly live.